talk show that focuses on tomorrow's brighter Africa. I'm here today with a colleague, a friend, and a lovely personality, and we're discussing the importance of encouraging diasporans to return home and implement. I do know that over the years, so many of us have migrated overseas to seek greener pastures. And I understand that region has already had implication on the economy. And it's not just speaking, it's well about the leadership, complaining about the government, but what are we doing to make a difference in our community? What are we doing to make a difference back home? So this is what we're talking about today. Talking about what's happening about the democratic government. Are we got a democratic government? You know, there was brain drain in the past, but now people are beginning to use the social network like Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn as a form of communication. So do you think there's let's talk about democracy. What is democracy to start with?
Well, for me, having an NGO that deals with a lot of fundamental issues, helping the masses. I'm an advocate for justice, peace and justice. I also have affiliated advocates with charitable organizations back home, where a lot of issues that is happening in Nigeria, we sort of do quite a lot of things to sort of try and see how we can help people. Who are the masses? Basically people who are, disabled, domestic violence, also sexually transmitted and stuff like that is happening in the country. We talk of democracy. Democracy can be classified into different categories. Some people believe there isn't any democracy in Nigeria. Well, in a way, I would say yes and I would say no. And the reason is this: we're still growing as a nation.
A developing country.
Yes, a developing country. And the only way the development can come is not just by the government itself, but by also we as the masses as well, working together, creating a lot of awareness, like I've just mentioned about my NGO, which is OPSIN, Unity and Positive Change in Nigeria. And to help people to communicate with both the government and communicating with the people themselves. When we're saying creating the awareness, we're talking about acknowledging.
I think 2007, when there was kind of a civil war or problem with the voting, a lot of difference there. Yes. So we can't say there isn't.
Yes, and I'm not going to dispute. Like I said earlier on, it can be argued for and against. Now, my perspective, because I participated in.
I remember,
yes, and my concern is that the nation, the masses, we need good governance, irrespective of which party is ruling. I mean, some people are saying that President Goodluck is not fit enough to be the president, but I totally disagree. And the reason is, no matter who you put there, if you don't have the proper administration and infrastructure, it's still going to come back to zero.
And if you haven't got a very good supporter or good leaders or good advisors, it's always going to be there.
Exactly. Which is what is killing the nation. With the fuel subsidy, I believe that, there's been so many stories that initially there isn't any. Some people say it's for the benefit of the nation. But even after all the stuff we've done with the demonstration, we're here to find that, okay, fair enough, the government is communicating with the people, because the amount and the pressure and the way people came out in full force at that period of time to show their concern that they're tired, that Nigerians have that stamina. It's not just about coming out because you were being paid. Many people came out because they wanted to.
They're fed up, aren't they?
Were fed up.
Sorry,
exactly.
Can I just come in? I'm just going to interject. What I believe in is that some people, there's a substantial amount of people who cannot feed their family. Some of them go through a kind of a terrible, or should I say horrifying sequence of 0-0-1, which means no breakfast, no lunch, just dinner. Some of them are graduates roaming the streets without job and all that stuff. And this is so much accumulated. So people are they're tired, they're fed up, and they want to see a difference. They want to know exactly what their rights are in the country.
Exactly. And unfortunately, the constitution as well is not being properly being injected into the judiciary system to help the masses know what their citizen's rights and fundamental rights are, which is also killing us as a nation, because many people are just, you know what, as long as it doesn't affect me, damn the consequences.
Sorry, and that is the idea we in the diaspora do have.
Exactly.
We should remember that no matter how the country is today, there's always a place called our home.
Exactly.
Our home, especially we in the diaspora, we do have dual citizens. Most of us were born. Some of us were born here,
yes.
and we've got that country too. We've got Nigeria, we've got Kenya, we've got Ghana, all other countries to be our second home, but that will always be our first home. So we have to, as you lay your bed, you lie on it. So we have to make sure that we are the ones making it better, because the more we move out of the country, the terrible the country is. Now, Abbey, something just came to my mind. I remember a girl dancing all over the place on the day of this.
I was the lady. Well, that's what the thing was.
It was wonderful.
I know a lot of people said, well, it was on, you know,
a YouTube. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
For some people, they felt, well, you know, you've always been a pro-Jonathan.
Promises, continuous promises without action. But now the people of Nigeria would like to see, you know, what we're talking about. They want people to be, they want to see the difference. So there's no point to say we're having a meeting today, we're having a community, we're having an organization. What's happening? Look at what happened in Egypt. That was more of a word, you know, putting their, action, words into action. So in Egypt, the Egyptians in diaspora had to return to Egypt to make a difference. And Mubarak was there for how many years? Over 45 years. Within 10 days, they had the revolution and they brought him down.
With Nigerians, we're still like, you know, this is a topic for democracy. We're still growing. And
how long are we going to say we're growing?
Because the thing is, many people,
independent for over 50 years,
I know,
and we're still growing.
But no,
the normal, let's say the majority of the less privileged. I mean, these people are educated. They can't even afford to feed their children. Pensioners are dying on a queue. Health service is poor, deteriorating, and things are terrible. Why are we deceiving ourselves that we're growing? When are we really going to grow?
The thing is this: I'm not, for me, I'm trying to be objective and play the devil's advocate here. That most of the time we say that, I'm an advocate. I mean, a lot of people know that I do campaign a lot as a human rights activist, law person, lawyer, and stuff like that. It's not as easy as what people think it is. And but I try to make sure that whatever is being projected out there by people like myself is that to create the awareness, to let people understand that it's not just, we can't continue to just attack the government themselves. We as people as well, we need to start encouraging ourselves to democratically grow, because if we have a negative mind and we're saying it will never be, instead of being positive,
that's what
and
we
looking
need.
at things in an objective side, trying to see whether we can encourage one another to, okay, look, how do we go about it? How do we work to cooperate with one another in unity, with all this Boko Haram and all that stuff happening,
terrible, and
the religious wars,
terrible.
And, there's so many things that is making us draw backwards. Some people say we rather separate, let's go our separate way. But I think, at the end of the day, if you look at countries that are fighting tribal wars, and there's this thing there that, that thing never goes. Once there's a resentment that starts, it's something that moves on, and it never stops. And, Nigeria has always been a country where we don't look at whether you're from Igbo, where you're Romans. You can't just expect that you're coming from a very comfort zone here where there's light, there's everything. You get there, you expect that and start complaining. That people that have been living there for so long, they're used to those kind of things.
We should not just think about it as a failing country. Yes, things are not going on. We've got challenges, and yes, we're facing a lot of financial challenges. Maybe economic growth is going through some kind of maybe a little bit of challenges too, but worldwide. But we do know that there's financial global meltdown worldwide. So the economy might not be excellent, but yes, it will get better. And we in the diaspora, we do know that we do have our destiny in our hands, and that's the reason why we should go home and help our people. I want people to know that Nigeria is a very lovely country. Our country is a very beautiful country. Economic growth would definitely be supported and lifted up very shortly. I'm sure you've had enough from our guests, Miss Abbey Ojo, a wonderful woman who is supporting the less privileged, just like I do as well. And I'm sure that by the time we all sit together, we'll be able to find a drawing board and see where we could move forward from there. We'll see how we in the diaspora can contribute to the development of our country. We are ready to return home. We are ready to instill that democratic leadership. We're ready to support the government. We're ready to make a difference. So we in the diaspora should please return home and help the country. If you would like to continue with this debate, you can go on my website, www.tinoshow.com. Join us on Twitter, Tinoshow. For now, I'll take a break. MITV has now gone international. You can watch MITV if you are a Sky subscriber. Oh yes, you can watch MITV in London. MITV can be watched on Then Television, MITV London. For your news, entertainment, sports, debate, music, and so many more. Very scintillating programs as usual. You can watch MITV. MITV, the soul of entertainment. So please welcome. Give us a last word.
Well, we still have both negative and positive aspects. For us to be able to accommodate and tolerate, living in the UK and in America and stuff like that, despite all the negative aspects of it, we cannot say because of that it is that equally bad. So likewise Nigeria, it's just that we pray that whatever we're doing, there must be a positive issue, there must be positivity in our dealings with one another. Our mindset needs to change. We should be able to understand that going home is to help those, apart from helping the people back home, also helping ourselves, and also to help the nation to develop. A lot of people might think, no, what do you mean with everything? A lot of people have had bad experiences, but we shouldn't look at it and say that that's the end of the world, because the experience will make you more to have the awareness of how to deal with issues in a better aspect next time. To understand
how to cope when the next challenge comes.
When challenges come. So you can't say because you've had 1 or 2 bad experiences, that's the end of the world, because it could happen to you here in the UK, anywhere. So you just have to be more positive and think about the constructive ways of dealing with issues, learning to change the mindset. Also try to do a better thing for those who are less privileged, but don't do it because you want a popularity
or you want a reward.
You want a reward, because God is the one that rewards people. Don't go to Nigeria and think, okay, if you're going there, I want to get a contract from this person and all that stuff, then you're bound to get yourself in a lot of mess. Don't sell everything and say you're going home and then get home, and because you can easily get duped. So you have to use your common sense.
Focus.
Exactly, and to make sure that whatever you're doing, you don't get yourself into a negative situation.
That's good.
And also what I would also like to say is that whatever we're doing, we should remember that we as people, as Nigerians, also make the government. So no matter how we look at it, whoever is there, it's us being there. And we must learn our Nigerian constitution, know what our fundamental and legal rights are, so that you can, that would help us as to go and make sure you know your environment, know where you're going to be staying, familiarize yourself with your community and all that stuff.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Abbey. I would just say, give a last advice. This is to the people who always expect something great, the country or the government. I would say it's time for us now to give back to the country. What's the point of waiting for the government to do a lot? Because the resources we have now, we might be well endowed in natural and human resources, but we do know that so many, even Nigeria do have debts now, just like other countries worldwide. So we do know the state of the economy, and that's the reason why we should now think of giving back to the country. We should help those who haven't got enough. We should see how we could help each other. We should listen to each other. We should listen and not shout. We should see how we can show love around ourselves. What's the point of complaining all the time? When we're talking about democracy, we're talking about freedom of speech. The government should give us the opportunity to express ourselves. The government should give us the chance to bring our own book to the table. The government should sit with us and listen to us. That's what democracy is all about. When people complain or give criticism, it doesn't mean they're bad. It doesn't mean they haven't got the right. It doesn't mean they should be
you
lost.
start using SSS to chase them about because they're speaking, or you start trying to terrorize them, bully and victimize them for speaking out their mind. If something is not right, we as a nation must learn to, and both the government and the people, to understand that it is for our own betterment. It is for the good of the nation, for the development of the nation.
Country, yeah.
So, you know, by exercising unwanted power, that would make things even worse.
And police brutality has to stop. So we want our police to be equipped. We want to see, we in the diaspora, how we can come home, equip the police, equip the department, see how we can help, see what difference we can make. We have to try and help our country. So we in the diaspora are ready to return home. We're ready to develop our country. So give us the chance to do so. So with me today, Miss Abbey Ojo, and we've had a beautiful discussion. I will be continuing this on Twitter. So follow us on the Twitter. The address is on the on the screen. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned and bye bye. Smile.
Bye.
MITV has now gone international. You can watch MITV if you are a Sky subscriber. Oh yes, you can watch sports, debate, music, and so many more. Very scintillating programs as usual. You can watch MITV. MITV, the soul of entertainment.